This is TVA by Jenna, a podcast about real human issues brought to you by DarkSpace.com.
This is TVA My Dinner. My name is Sean. I'm here with Brooks and Andrew and Lynn.
Hey, everybody. Have you watched The Matrix?
No, I watched Shang-Chi.
Name
I watched
something.
Wheel of Time.
Wheel
Wheel of Time. I watched the first episode of Boba Fett. I watched Shang-Chi.
I will tell you that The Matrix is don't bother. I'm going to say it. Don't bother.
It's not
so
good.
It's not good. So,
Well,
did you like the old Matrixes?
Yeah, then you
The first one was good.
Yeah, well, that's exactly where I am. I'm like, I like the first one. I didn't like the second or
Yeah.
third one, and this one's even worse than those.
This
I don't
one
think
is
it's
more
I watched the second and
secretly.
third one, and I do not remember a dang.
But
thing
this,
about it.
the disappointing
I
thing
thought
about
this was going to be a reboot, but it's more sequely than the sequel.
Well, the thing about that's the thing. Well, I think it's actually when we were looking at the trailer and they're talking about, and even the way the beginning concepts in this, where you're like, what is real before like that stuff starts to be interesting. It's like very meta, and then you're like, wait, oh, this is just a sequel. This is just literally a sequel.
And then they just spend so much screen time.
But then it gets
Literally
even
gushing
crazier
about themselves on screen,
yeah.
literally saying how. I mean, they say The Matrix was awesome. This isn't even like it's not veiled. Like in the movie, he is now a game developer in The Matrix.
Yeah,
who made a game
The Matrix
that somehow follows the exact story, even like screenshots of the characters.
Is he forgotten what's going on? Like what's happening with that?
Yeah.
And
Well, he
He's
doesn't
in the
really.
Matrix again.
It's
but
called The
subconsciously,
Matrix.
He's recreated a video game. He's recreated what happened to him in a video game called The Matrix.
yeah, and he has a breakdown because he can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality because he starts thinking the game is real. That's all.
And then
That's
he
not what the
becomes
movie's
Batman.
about. The movie happens after all that. They just tell us.
But
about
it's
it.
weirdly weird
That
that
would
they
be
can't
interesting if that's what the movie was about.
But
but they don't.
It's just too
The
much
movie
open.
opens with his partner, who is the dude, the Mindhunter dude, who is also in Hamilton.
Jonathan Groff.
Sure,
He's in Frozen, man.
he's in Frozen, man.
He was in.
But
Glee, wasn't
he comes in and he said, "Okay, I am your partner, and we know each other, and that's where we are in the story. And now our parent company, Warner Brothers, has
They
commanded that we may
actually say
Oh
Warner
yeah,
Brothers.
I am like the first part I was
Could
kind
not
of
be more
fudging, but this
upfront
part is
about it.
verbatim. Our parent company, Warner Brothers, has decided to make a sequel to the Matrix trilogy with or without us. So we are now forced to make another Matrix.
And he's like, why? It's like,
Then they
and
cut
you
to
could
a
just see that's the
boardroom
director.
montage
That's
of
the director
people
sitting
saying,
there. But why?
Why
We
would
have
we
to do it,
ever
man. They're making
make-
us do it.
Then they cut to these
that's
guys
the only
saying,
scene
we
I
could
liked.
never make a sequel to The Matrix because The Matrix was so mind-blowingly awesome. How would we even understand the impact of The Matrix on our culture in order to just recapture that lightning? This is the first quarter of the movie before anything's actually
It's always
happened.
referencing itself.
Well,
It's very
I mean,
like
Well, and the problem with
I did just watch the entire Scream franchise, so this is bringing real bells in my head for what I've just watched.
I think
Very meta.
I think the
Because
problem
the
with
most recent Scream movie does a lot of that as well. So
the
Scream.
first
I'd like it if they just say, "How could we make another Scream movie?" If they said that verbatim, then it would be as bad as The Matrix.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything. Just watch it.
Oh, did you
that's-
see the new one already?
don't
Yeah, I
they
watched
like
it last weekend.
Oh,
they-
I'll watch it, but I'll wait till it's on TV. I'm
I
not
might
gonna
mix.
do
I've
it.
only seen the first Scream, but I might be mixing this up with another franchise. But aren't they like making a Scream movie in the movie?
Stab.
And one of
Stab.
these,
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
whole point of it. Is that like
yeah,
from the second one they start making stab movies based on what happens in the Scream movies.
And it's
And
then-
the
but it
canon
starts
of what's
happening in
actually
real
in
life,
Stab
too.
and what isn't changes. Like you notice when you watch all 5 in one weekend, you notice that like at one point they say the Sydney character disappears after the third Stab movie, and then in the next one they say she's been there the whole along. So they really need to get their canon together. But the fourth movie starts with 2 or 3 tease surprise openings where you're actually watching the Stab movies, and you think you're
oh, I
watching the beginning of
hated
Scream.
that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
that's
And it
what
happens like 3 or 4 times,
I
and you're like,
hated that opening.
one of the modern nightmares is because I mean everybody's getting older, but when I see on TikTok, there's all these like 25-year-old. Sometimes they're like closer to our age and they're like movie guys or they know their stuff. I'm like, stuff I haven't seen. But when I'll see a 25-year-old go, like a movie reviewer, and he's like, "We saw the new Scream," and this is like a guy that has, and he's like, "I didn't expect it to be as meta and self-referential." I was like, "That's the whole point."
That's what it is. It's really meta. It's really, really self-referential.
Just discovering
it's absolutely about that. Although I read one in the review that said the meta commentary it was making seemed like it was more about Star Wars than modern horror. So, because of a lot of the commentary it makes, but it felt like to me just like another Scream.
Oh, he just did New Nightmare, and he's like, let's do this from the ground up. Let's like make a whole franchise that's just New Nightmare.
Yeah, Wes Craven really did bring that meta shit,
right?
And we had to live with it.
But that's the quintessential '90s meta movie where it's like, that's the scene like so and so in a horror movie you can only do these things. You're like, that was the meta movie of the early '90s.
They don't stop that in Scream 5.
Yeah,
Scream 5. It's just called Scream again, and they do. I remember.
I hate when they do that.
One of you commented that like if somebody lampshades something in the movie, it's still something dumb in the movie. But I still like it. I mean, it's Scream. It's my happy place. So.
We need to stop making sequels for 20-year-old movies, guys.
I don't mind it, but
it's not so bad if sequels have been being made the whole time.
I really enjoyed what they did with the legacy characters. I thought they did some good stuff with Sydney and.
Well, see, that's
Dewey
not so bad
Gale.
because it's the 5th one. They've been making them, but like Matrix, 20 years and then a sequel. I was like, who's this for?
Well, the problem with Matrix
kids today don't know the Matrix.
Even
movies.
when they tried
and
to
us,
do it,
we don't care anymore. It's 20 years, man.
Even when they made the sequels at the time they made them, it was like there's not enough to go back to on this. The first
they made
Matrix,
that show a couple years ago, right?
The show was really good.
The Scream, the Scream
Yeah.
TV show. Yeah, the first 2 seasons were pretty good. The third season had a different story and it was okay.
I didn't know there was a third season.
There was a third season, but it reboots the story, and it's a little more similar to the movies and stuff. It doesn't follow because they created their own mythology in the first 2 seasons of the show, and they had their own
Yeah, it was
masks and
independent.
everything.
It was just.
And it was fun. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And I don't even like the Scream sequels very much, but I thought that those were fun to revisit that way. So
Well, this was my favorite one for quite a while. I didn't really care for 2 and 3 very much, except the exploding house. That was good.
I should rewatch all of those movies because I haven't seen any of the sequels since the first time I saw them. And the 2 and 3 I saw in the theater, so I haven't seen those movies for over 20 years.
All right, old man Gilbert. saw it in the Penny Arcade or whatever.
Yeah, saw it at the Nickelodeon.
Yeah, the Nickelodeon. That's what I was trying to think of. Ralph Macchio's 60 years old.
Ralph Macchio, I saw something online that said
Like,
Ralph
what?
Macchio is older than Thomas Ian Griffith.
Right.
He plays old.
No way.
Larry
the old
Silver.
guy in the movie. That's
And
what's
he
so
looks
wild.
old as hell in Cobra Kai.
He's
Has
older now than
anybody watching
Pat
Cobra
Morita
Kai?
was. in
Yeah,
the
I watched
movies.
all of it. It's great.
Is it you that doesn't watch Cobra Kai, Brooks?
I watched the first two
I like how you do it. Is it you?
and then
that
I got
doesn't watch Cobra
annoyed
Kai?
because it started getting serious. This is the same thing
It's
that
not
happens
serious.
on.
It's fun.
Look,
It's
I love.
well,
Cobra
people
Kai.
start getting hurt and all this drama, and I'm like, I like it when they're being
it's
silly.
fighting, man. You got to get.
It's geared towards a
Drama.
younger audience, so there's some melodrama in it. But
Yeah.
I love the themes
I'll,
in that.
I'll check it out again.
I actually think Cobra Kai is a better Star Wars story than the Star Wars.
Well,
movies
I mean,
they made in
yeah, I
terms
mean,
of
'cause-
what they're trying to do thematically.
I
with
think it bothered me because my favorite character is the Cobra Kai guy. You know, what's his
Johnny?
name? Johnny.
Crease or Johnny? Yeah.
No, Johnny. And then when Kreese comes in and takes over, I feel like, I really was rooting for him the whole time. Like he's building his life up, and then Kreese comes in and it's all over. I'm like,
Well, you got to
this
kind of
is
watch that.
depressing.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
This
you're-
is
you have
depressing
a-
as hell. It just got
Megan's like
depressing.
that. She can't.
You have a
watch these
conflict
shows.
with the conflict of
Yeah,
the story.
I don't
They're gonna
mind
have ups and
conflict,
downs,
but I don't
man.
like that the main kid's in a coma. The guys, it's like the end of
Well,
the
but
season.
that's
just
the
left
end of
me
the
feeling
season.
really down.
Well, then start watching it again, and it gets. That's
And
the
then
You
result.
left it down.
You know what
left it
ruined
down
me
that
was Orange is the New Black ruined me for this stuff. Because the first season, my wife wanted to watch it. It's like, I'll watch it. And it was so funny, like
Yeah,
charming.
that show was pretty
I'm
good
like,
for a while.
yeah, and I'm like, this is fun. And then season 2 started getting kind of serious. And then in season 3, things are just,
I
bleak.
dropped off halfway through.
And I'm like, this isn't fun anymore. Like you bring me in with comedy, like, oh, this is
I
fun.
can't
and then it
believe the
gets
amount
dark.
of
and like, it's
people-
not fun anymore.
I think
from
Cobra
last
Kai
year's-
rewards you for staying with it. Though.
but Cobra Kai,
that's literally like my favorite TV show right now. Like Boba Fett's fine, but Cobra Kai is
Cobra Kai was great. But the fact that Cobra Kai has literally brought in everybody that could possibly, everybody alive, from last season to getting all the Okinawa people to now getting Terry.
I do admire.
I love it. Yeah,
this is great.
And he's awesome.
The devotion to the original movie,
every scene that he's in.
And he did a whole thing where he's like, he seemed kind of lame at first, and by the end of it, he's like, he's crazy like he was again. Like, this is great.
Wouldn't it be cool if they did that with a lot of old movies that we love? Like actually make new shows, but they're really devoted to the story of the.
Well, this is what you want, like Sean's saying. This is what we wanted the new Star Wars prequels to be with those good characters. Like they do a good job of like having new characters, but the themes and what they pay respect to, it's all about the old movies.
They always find a story reason to have them there.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Cobra Kai. They construct it. They're not just there. Like I probably I'm the only one who saw it, so I won't spoil like the Ghostbusters, but I just felt that whole time that
movie's. I didn't put it on my list.
Literally the point when the Ghostbusters actually show up, and you're like,
Thank
no.
you. Every review that I read, a lot of those reviews, except for a couple, they're like, "It's great. This is exactly those damn man-boy fans are like, this is exactly what we wanted, not out of that woman one." And I was like,
for you,
the movie's not very good.
One.
It has a lot of high points. It
has fun stuff.
Badly made. But
what they're talking about,
executed for what they're trying to
Tiny
do.
Marshmallow Man.
Well, the stuff that that doesn't make any sense. Why those are even there? Don't get me started. Like
it's very Force Awakens in that it's propped up on the very first Ghostbusters movie for no reason.
The first one, the first part of the movie is really good. It's like a Stranger Thingsy thing, but the part where those people like, which is when they bring back these people, I was like, when I saw those reviews and everybody liked it, I was like, oh, they must do this in a cool way. I'm very excited to see this. And you watch
several moments in the movie
horrible.
Like,
it's
well,
horrible.
they're not going to do this. Like, oh no, they did.
I mean, they're almost practically green screened in, and they've got them for an afternoon. I'm like, you got to be kidding me! This is what you guys wanted for like.
Yeah. Why do you?
Well, it's like.
Well, I think what they made was a movie that they realized after the fact wasn't a comedy. The biggest problem with that movie is that Ghostbusters works because it's funny. The 2016 Ghostbusters works because it's
thought it was funny. I like that one.
It's a comedy. And it works as a comedy.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how to pinpoint the genre of this would be nostalgia.
And Bill Murray's in that one.
It doesn't work as any other genre. Like you're
Bill Murray keeps acting like he's too
there's
good
a
to do
little
this
bit of
stuff, but
action
he keeps
here,
showing
but
up.
it's not an action movie. There's a little bit of drama here, but it's not a drama movie. And there's a little bit of comedy here, but it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
So what is it?
It's an action drama. Action drama. Yeah,
it's like I said, it's not nothing. Like I think it's enjoyable.
Don't
but
make me say it, man. Sequel after 20 years.
Well, this one definitely.
Guys.
This one proves your point for you because the 2016 one definitely does a better job.
Sequel after 20 years,
trying to make a funny movie. I think if you had taken both of those movies and combined the elements that worked into one movie, it would have been good because I think the 2016 one was too divorced from the original source material. It should have been a sequel.
Well, it should have
been a reboot. It should have leveraged that universe that already existed. And then that would have been fun to see with new characters that really prop it up and make it work. This one is really, concept, but it's it's spooky. Well, it feels like the Scooby-Doo movie.
Well, this
if you watch the Scooby-Doo movie, it's kind of the same plot.
Yeah, well, and that's why this one suffers.
No. For those of us that watched
not
the
Scooby-Doo
movie.
Well, but this one suffers from this.
The Casper movie from the 90s.
For those of us that watched the Casper movie.
Yeah, we watched
I'm not making fun of you guys.
I watched that movie 50 damn times.
Yeah, there's a girl in my bed.
Maybe you should watch Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I don't think that we're the...
Well, and the problem is, though, is because it came from
I was the target audience for that Casper movie.
And Ray Stantz is in both films.
Yeah, but it came from all this whole hype of, like, Jason Reitman's pulling this out for a purpose because they have a story now that's going to be all this stuff. And it's like, it's like the biggest, like, and they spent 2 years doing it. And it's like,
they said the same stuff about the new Matrix. I keep seeing these interviews for Canoe. You know, I know it's Keanu, but we've been calling him Canoe forever because it's fun. Canoe. But when Canoe was all these interviews, like, you know, it takes a master to make a film like this. Like, this is a work of genius. He actually says stuff like that. I'm like, Are you watching the movie that you were in?
Passionate. I like that they're passionate and they're doing it from a good place.
The only thing that's good about the only thing that's nice about the Matrix movies, if you were a big fan of the Matrix movies, the other ones, is that by the end of this one, it leaves those characters in a better place. It's like a better ending for those. Like, oh, this is fun. They didn't just get impaled and weird stuff happen.
They just didn't earn them in the movie.
I just feel like these guys come in with like, we're going to make this awesome thing that people are going to love from back then, but it doesn't work because those times it's not the same times.
Well, the Matrix
you can't recapture something, make something new.
Yeah, you can't make a sequel to the Matrix though.
The Matrix was cool because it was new.
Well, the Matrix is a singular piece of storytelling. That it goes into infinity and
a perfect ending.
Done. The Matrix is basically.
I can't imagine. And
every time they tried to revisit Highlander, it was a disaster.
Because the Highlander ended and it made sense. Terminator 1 ended, it made sense. You keep going back, it stops making sense.
I am immortal.
Yeah, Queen.
I have inside me blood of kings.
And they should use that soundtrack for the new one.
If they just did that as the show, they need to do that.
I'd be down with that.
I would love that.
And make a new Flash Gordon movie and use that song too while you're at it.
Flash.
I would love that. In fact, I'll just go watch those movies. That's the other thing.